Hello everyone, this is Mr. Sean, just recording this lecture for the last regular class. Just gives you some information about the final process to ending this class, and then throughout this lecture I'll give you some tidbits on what it means to be a college student going forward for your venture into your four-year institution, maybe more classes here at Lone Star, and then just being an adult, which we all are in this course. So here are a few things. My face-to-face students really like these. They're not meant to be offensive, just meant to be a little lighthearted because it's the last day of class, last day of school, the end of the semester. So we're trying to be lighthearted. Just some things, some memes that maybe you find amusing, interesting. I know for me, I can say for several of these, I have been there before. And if you haven't been through these, you'll be through them at least once in your academic career. So just a little lighthearted, something along those lines. So your final exam, all chapters in the textbook are fair game to put on the final exam. So plus, I put all lecture notes. You all didn't have lecture notes in here, so don't worry about that. Everything that can be answered on the final exam will come from your textbook. There might be questions from the quick hits put on the final exam, so you should be aware of those. You might want to go back to review those. You guys are the online class, so your online class, your exam will be in D2L. If for some reason you want to come up to campus to take your exam and want to do it in a face-to-face setting, please let me know. You get the same time frame anyway, but I will provide you with this list of days you can come up to UP to take the exam. If you want to do it face-to-face, you'll probably just take it with one of my classes. And if you absolutely need to take it into the testing center, I need to know that like ASAP by the end of this week, by tomorrow, Friday. Your exam must be completed in one setting, meaning you'll have an hour and 50 minutes to take the exam. That is the exact time frame that students in face-to-face classes get. No extra time will be given unless you have approval from me first, or we have negotiated that beforehand. And your final exam, of course, will be open book and open notes for your book and your notes, whatever you have taken. Also, you should be aware that your exam will be open from May next Monday. What day is that? That day just slips me a bit. Next Monday, May 8th through Thursday, May the 11th. So you have 4 days to take the exam. But the minute you click on it, you will have an hour and 50 minutes to take it. So you have to take the whole thing in one sitting. All grades will be posted into D2L by Tuesday, May 16th at 4 p.m., but most likely it's going to be earlier. For you all, I still have 2 discussion boards, your reflection paper number 4 to grade, and that's pretty much it, so I should get those knocked out in the next day or 2. So the only thing I'd be lacking would be the final exam. So the minute after the last final exam has been implemented into the system, then I will go in, put that in, and then I put in extra credit. So make sure that you have grade alerts, or make sure they're turned on, either via email or text message. You can do that in D2L. And I will send an email to the class letting you know about final grades. So this email will be sent once everything is uploaded and put into the system. Just read that, peruse that, and that will give you information about the closing of the class. However, with letter grades, those must go through the LSC system office. I call that the White House up in the Woodlands. For your letter grade, it really just depends. That's the best way to tell you. Once I put in the letter grade, the system has to release it. Technically, they're supposed to release it. Letter grades are supposed to be released every hour, and that's pretty much what happens. Sometimes it could be earlier. I have had small instances in my 5 years of being here where it has been a little bit later. So just something to be aware of. Once I put in the letter grade, it's out of my hands. That's essentially what I'm getting at. And then for you all, the makeup quiz is still available in D2L. I believe it closes on the 6th. I could be wrong, the 5th or the 6th. I have to double check, but the makeup quiz and extra credit number 3 are still available for you. Participation and attendance, this doesn't apply to you since we had an online course. So I'll just skip through that. Here are just a little fun with number statistics that I thought were interesting. I don't know how many of you out there have taken a stats class, but I took my first stats class at the doctoral level last semester, and then had the same professor for advanced stats this semester. He's been awesome, but I asked him to help me out with coming up with some numbers for my job for this class. And one of the things that I came up with was taking all the students that I've ever taught. It's around 1,000 to about 1,200 students that I've taught total in my 5 years of teaching. And the number I came up with was this: 96.4% of my students. This is the percentage of students who ended the semester with a C, D, or an F who did not complete at least 2 assignments. Of that 96.4%, 98.1% of the 96.4%, those are students, the percentage of those students who did not complete at least one major assignment. So the whole point of me doing this is to get you to know the first question you should ask when seeing your final grade is, did I complete every assignment in this class? What this percentage tells me, what the numbers here tell me, is if you complete every assignment in my class, any class that I teach, you're most likely going to walk out of my course with an A or a B. So just something to think about. When you see your final grade at the end of the semester, you should ask the first question, hey, did I do all the assignments? A note of gratitude, these are my bosses. Lisa Hill, she's our interim dean. She will be we'll find out who the new Dean of Liberal Arts will be next week. Kathy Cecil Sanchez, our Vice President of Instruction, if you're ever on the UP campus. You probably won't see her a lot because she's always in the back doing work. And then Shah Otterlon, who's the president of LSC University Park. If you've ever been on campus, he holds various things at Spring Fling. He loves meeting with students. If you want to send them an email, just tell them how awesome I am as a professor, how much I need to raise. If you could raise my salary to 6 figures, that'd be great. If Mr. Sean wasn't around, Lone Star College University Park would be lost without him. All of that would be cool. Now, if you want to send them emails telling them how crappy I am, they're probably just going to delete that. So, that's up to you. Evaluations. I welcome all feedback. Feedback is welcome. I do not get my feelings hurt about certain students giving me constructive criticism about the course. That's totally fine, which is what you pretty much do for the evaluation extra credit number 2, and you pretty much do for extra credit number 3 as well. I do take a look at those and understand what it is that you're discussing, what you're talking about, and how that can apply to the next semester. Rate My Professor. I know a lot of you pick your professors via Rate My Professor. I'm not sure it's the best way to do it, but if you want to give me all 5s, that would be awesome. That would be great. Continue a high rating, hopefully. I'll just leave it at that. All 5s for me, especially since I'm offering you so much extra credit. For fall, if you need to take a speech class in the fall, these are the speech classes that I will be teaching. If you notice, most of them are online. If you've taken you're in this online class now. If you need another online class, I am doing public speaking and business and professional. Those are throughout the semester. And but if you do want to come into the university campus, I do have 1315 and 1311 for you to take. If you take this intro class and this interpersonal class, and you're asking, well, what class should I take next? For you all, it probably would be public speaking or business and professional. And this is my summer schedule. I'm not going to go over it because I'm hoping that you don't have to take me in the summer again for this exact same course. So just a few thoughts for you, helpful hints to navigate the four-year university and to navigate life. One of my favorite quotations I've ever heard is, college is a trial run for being an adult. And essentially when we talk about a trial run for being an adult, in college, this is what helps us understand what I need to do, differently, what I need to change, what am I good at, what am I strong at when it comes to the adult life once college is over, once you're out of mom and dad's house. Because when you're in college now, you're looking out for yourself. So understand that in college there are hard deadlines, consequences for not meeting those hard deadlines. As some of you understood in this course, if you didn't meet the hard deadline of the due date, you got a 0. Whereas in real life, if you don't meet the hard deadline or the due date of what your boss is asking for, what your supervisor is asking for, you could get fired, you could get reprimanded, and getting fired from your job would mean you're not making money, and if you're not making money, you can't provide for your family. So you're seeing how college is a trial run for understanding how to be an adult. Some of you are just now figuring out finances, dealing with financial aid, things of that nature, and all of this is stuff that they don't teach us in high school. Some of you went to the most awesome high schools in the Houston area. Some of you did not go to great high schools. I went to small town conservative high school in small town Texas, and I was top 10%, and even that didn't teach me what college life was like, what being an adult is like. High school doesn't prepare you for that, and it's very, very unfortunate. So when we say this, what I'm trying to get at to you is that the margin for error is thin. There are no givens, there are no automatics. Sure, maybe in high school you could turn in a poorly written paper or do the bare minimum to get by and still pass, because that's the system set up in public school. It's designed to pass you regardless, where that is not the system here at the college level. If you turn in something poor or inadequate, you're going to be you're going to face the consequences for that, which is an F or a bad grade. So grades and success aren't just automatic in this class and in this course, and because of the nature of this institution. Just keep in mind, there are other people out there who can do it, and then there are other people out there who can do it and do it better. So you don't want to think, oh, well, it's just me. I'm the only person here that can do this, or this is what I got away with at the other place. Well, that's fine. This is something different. You have to learn to adjust as an adult. As I was explaining to my face-to-face classes today, I keep using the word proponent, but that's the wrong word. My brain is just fried from so much work this week that I can't think of the right word here, but I understand that mental health is a factor in our success. I understand some of you go through depression, some of you go through anxiety, some of you have family issues at home that impact your ability to be a great student here. Some of these things, will I eat today? How will I pay this bill? Do I have money to buy a textbook? These are actual questions students have asked me and other faculty members here at University Park just this semester. We have students who go to our school here at UP, and some of you go to other campuses, but we have students in the Lone Star system who don't know how they're going to eat dinner tonight. We have students who don't know the rent was due yesterday on the 3rd. We have students who don't know if they're going to, didn't know how to pay the rent yesterday. And we have students who don't have the money or the means to buy a textbook. Trust me, I know how expensive textbooks are. So my whole point about this is we have to learn to deal with these issues. Keep in mind, everybody has life issues. The question is, are we going to let those continuously bog us down, or what is it that we can do to either work through those life issues, to get over those life issues, or to not make those life issues constantly be a burden on us? And we learn through mistakes, we learn with time, and we learn through failure. Just a couple of tips for you as college students, especially if you're transferring on to the 4-year institution. Never email an assignment to a professor unless you're told to do so. If you forgot to turn in something, or you skipped class that day, or you weren't able to make class that day because of a doctor's appointment, a sick child, what have you, don't just assume that you can just email an assignment to a professor. Let the professor tell you, yes, you're allowed to email this to me. What I would do is either, well, you should turn it in earlier if you know you're going to miss. But another way to be proactive and to look good in the eyes of the professor is to print out that assignment and take it to him or her directly. And then they will tell you, yes, I will accept this printed assignment, or no, go back and email that to me. So never email an assignment, not just an assignment, to a professor unless they tell you so. Something just small, and this is more so for my face-to-face classes than for you all, because you all didn't have to turn in hard copies of anything, but just staple your paper before you turn it in. There's nothing more nerve-wracking, I guess you could say, annoying, I guess you could say, than a student turning in a paper asking the professor if they have a stapler. The library has staplers, the printing centers have staplers, use those. And if not, a stapler only costs like $1 at Staples, at the store Staples. So just make sure you staple your papers before you turn them in. Follow instructions specifically for that professor. What I mean by this is you might have 1, 2, or 3 professors who are requiring you, let's just say for example, they're requiring you to write a research paper. All 3 professors might have different styles. One might use APA, one might use MLA, one might use Chicago. So when you talk about this idea of writing styles and understanding what it is that a professor wants from a certain project or a certain assignment, every professor is different. Your job is to adjust to what each specific professor wants. If Professor A wants 12-point font, 1-inch margins, double-spaced Times New Roman, Professor B wants 12-point font, 1-inch margins, and Calibri font, then you have to adjust to that. You can't just do whatever you want willy-nilly. Not only that, when you do that, remember we talked about affinity-seeking strategies in this course. Affinity-seeking strategies are strategies that we do or utilize in an effort to increase our chances of being liked. Remember, everybody wants to be liked in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Doing stuff like this, following the instructions and stapling your paper, increases the chances of you being liked by your professor. And that's a good thing when it comes to the grade at the end of the semester. Also, if you have any questions, just ask your professor or your TA. Send them an email. Professors love emails. Well, at least I do. I loved when you guys sent me emails because it showed that you cared about your assignment and you wanted to make sure that you did it correctly. That's why I would encourage you to send more emails to your professors, especially if you're confused. Instead of just doing whatever you think it is, why not get clarification first from the person that gave you the assignment and then go from there? And if you go to the 4-year university level, if you transfer on, you'll most likely have a TA that you can ask, and they will be there to clarify stuff for you. Just a final few thoughts for you. Number 1, learn to multitask. We're adults. We have to juggle a bunch of different stuff. For some of you, what I mean by this is maybe an online class wasn't the best. If you know that you were going to work 40 hours a week and that you have kids to take care of and things of that nature, maybe you realize through experience, oh crap, I can't take an online class. It's just something I can't do. Or I need to learn how to multitask my job with my class, knowing something along the lines of, one of the things I did with online classes, myself, is I set out a schedule that I was going, once I looked at the syllabus and I wrote every assignment and its due date, I set out a time that I would for sure log on. That was this day and this time, this day and this time, this day and this time. So I knew for sure my professor was seeing that I was regularly logging on to the course. You got to learn how to multitask, juggle several things at once. I'm okay with failure. The question I always ask students is, what did you learn from it? If you learned something from failing, then you've learned something. Then that's when failure is a good thing. But if you fail and you didn't learn anything from your failure, then we have issues. So failure is good. It's not a bad thing. It's just, what did you learn from it? Maybe you learned that you couldn't take X amount of classes. Maybe you learned that the online class wasn't the best format for you. Maybe you learned that you shouldn't have took on overtime at work, something along those lines. So the question is, what did we learn from that failure, and how can we adjust for the next time? Being professional at all times goes a long way with you as a student and you as an adult. That includes writing emails to professors or to colleagues or to your boss. The way you use body language, showing that you do want to be there. And when it comes to writing emails to your professor, the best way to do that, always state your name, your class, and the day and time. That's the very first thing. So for example, you should say, any email you send to me, Professor Stewart, this is John Smith from your online interpersonal class. Or Professor Stewart, this is John Smith from your interpersonal class Tuesday, Thursday from 11 to 12:20. And then go into what email you want to state. But always give a proper greeting to your professors in email. Make sure you're responsible for yourself and your work. I think some of you saw that through the group projects. Remember, even in a group setting, you're still responsible for your own work because it's your own grade. No one else is responsible for you. It shouldn't be a case where people have to remind you of stuff. If you've gotten to a point, especially in a group or committee work, where you're thinking, man, I haven't heard from my group, I wouldn't just sit by and wait for them to contact you. I would be the initiator and contact them, say what's going on. So you're responsible for yourself and your work. Make sure you're maturing. Maturation is key. I like to have fun, but know when to be an adult, as I said before, professionalism. And the tone, the type of tone you use in such things as email and when talking to people on the phone can go a long way. Always strive to be better. What I mean by this is, I love teaching at Lone Star. It's awesome. It's great. Great students, great diversity. But you shouldn't let this be your ceiling. Remember, there's evidence after evidence I can show you that state people who have a bachelor's degree make more money over the course of their lifetime than people with just a high school diploma. People with a master's degree make more money over the course of their lifetime than people with just a bachelor's. And people with a doctorate degree or a JD make more money over the course of their lifetime than people with just a master's degree. And I'm not talking about just thousands of dollars over the course of your lifetime. I'm talking millions. You're increasing with education. With education, you're increasing your social capital and your financial capital. So don't let Lone Star, don't just stop here. Try to continue on and go further in your educational process. And then finally, I'm here for you. If you just need a chat, if you need someone to talk to, if you need life advice, school advice, or you need some support at a soccer game or a school assembly or something along those lines, just let me know, and I'll be here for you. If some of you, I know this is an online class, but if you want to stop by my office just to chit-chat or ask a question, you know where to do that. The University Park campus, Building 13, office number 802. So other than that, we are done. Remember, you have the makeup exam, or the makeup quiz, at your disposal that takes the place of your lowest quiz grade. You have extra credit number 2 and extra credit number 3 still out there for you, and the final exam will be posted on Monday. So if you have any questions, please let me know. It was a pleasure teaching you all this semester.